ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कथामहं ददि स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलान् श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशकारिणे पञ्चकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पति गोपीश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी रघुवंशे देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। Can you please let me know if the voice is clear?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. So I welcome you all to our systematic study of Vedic scriptures, and that we are going through chapter 13. Chapter 13 is the chapter that is signifying the importance of Gyan, the knowledge. And Lord explains Lord explains in this to Arjuna what is real knowledge. Because usually we think that knowledge is something which helps us to know new things for our good. Usually there is a lot of newspapers which give us knowledge. And one of the reasons why people go to the newspapers is that they want to be up to date. They want to know what is happening in the world and what is the reason for that. If you see, one reason is that to secure himself. How can I make best of what is happening in the world? Huh? If someone is saying there is a Bhagavad Sapta that is happening, not everyone is so interested. That's why usually this doesn't go into the headlines. If you see in the newspaper, the headlines is what about crime, or what is the other thing? How to make more money. There are magazines, articles which are telling about how to make more wealth. Uh, the term could look like economic times, but actually in economic times, it's more about how to make more money. Economic means is actually like, okay, how to live a simplistic life. Uh, because then we clearly know, okay, this is what I have, this is what I need to save, this is what I need to use. But rather, what we use the same economic times is for what? To accrue a lot of wealth. And some people may think, hey, I'm already, I don't care. Yeah, I'm already rich. I have a lot of money. I don't need economic times. What they do is they go into more hobby. Huh? They go to sports articles. They're looking into that. And in that way, what is happening is a lot of knowledge. A lot of knowledge is on one side bombarded, and there are also people who want to take benefit of it. And some people also read newspaper. Why? Because there is genuine interest to know something. Until we really find what is that, we keep on reading. But what is happening is because when we are reading the Vishaya, uh, the subject matter which is about material life, Sometimes it bewilders us, sometimes it makes us curious, uh, because uh, ultimately, when you know something, what is the outcome of it? Why do we read newspaper, or why do we want to know more things? So that we are in the end happy. We want to have a very happy life. That is the reason why we read. After reading a newspaper, especially today's news, people are disgusted. What kind of world we are living in? There is child abuse, there is women abuse, there is that, this, so many political things that are happening. Uh, After such a disgusting feeling, huh, the day starts with that, right? What can we expect after that? We think, hey, we think that as if like, hey, world is no more in my control, as if like we would have done great things. Then what we do is we, after gather all these details, we simply sit and yeah, we can discuss now because after all, I am now knowledgeable. This is what I'm thinking as knowledge. I know about science, I know about social, I know about political, I know about sports. And when we put all of these things, then we think, oh, after all, I know a lot. This happens especially when we see the corporate world, when people are coming together. This usually happens when people come together. There will be some guy who will just start showing that he knows a lot. Yeah, he will start telling, Modi ji did a very good thing. And then everyone will start talking about that. And the people who don't know also think, oh, this is very important. I need to know. You will go and start hearing. After 2 days, this guy will come and start telling more because he want to show that he knows more. Uh, and then the guy who already was showing off, he doesn't want to compromise, right? After all, he's so much absorbed, involved in it, and he knows a lot. He starts saying, no, 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 no. No, what you're saying is, don't read this newspaper. Read this newspaper. I have read all the newspapers about this. And in the end, what happens? What happens in the end after discussing? Nothing happens. What is the gain we get when we come together and discuss about mundane things? It's of no use. Why? Because that is not considered to be knowledge for liberation. That is called knowledge for attachment. Because we are attached to it, we're getting more and more entangled. Whereas the knowledge for liberation, people don't want. That's why we don't see so many articles. When Prabhupada was going and giving at that age back to Godhead magazines, how many were taken? Does it mean that there was no culture of reading news? No. Yeah, they were flooding with a lot of news about geopolitical situations that were happening, about freedom, uh, and after freedom, what is happening, what politician has done
Mhm.
what. Yeah, sorry, I'm audible. So we consider after some time that hey, this is all knowledge. But Krishna is saying to Arjuna that this is not knowledge. Whatever which is not this, uh, just understand it is not knowledge. Why? Because whatever we try to know, learn, and everything is only keeping us attached. Even if we take scientists, they're advancing in science, but they are also building what attachment. Because they think, hey, science was just this. Now it's now in 21st century we are here. Just we are close to the roof, just close, which means we are almost perfect. After that one thing that we find how to live eternally, then we are successful. All religions are telling people will die one day or the other, but science will make sure that we live forever. For that matter, we are going to Moon, we are going to Mars, we will go to Venus, we'll go to Jupiter, even if it is far. What? Come on, we have resources, we have people who are funding in this curious thing, and then we do make some nice photos and then prove it. We don't know from which planet or which city, or they will make a photo and. Uh, but then we start thinking because when I did something, I always have this desire that I want to prove that I did it. So that name and fame will come. When name and fame will come, what will happen? People start thinking I'm great. And yes, of course, yeah, we are finding something doesn't mean that we are really great. We are great only when we find who we are. And that is what chapter 13 is telling. Chapter 13 is about to know who am I. It is not to know about the world of a place for enjoyment. It is a place of reformation. Yeah, it is not that we want to say, hey, this material world is illusion. This material world is something Maya. So we should be free from it. Yeah. Uh, how to get free is just to go to the forest. How long can we stay in a forest? As soon as we hungry, we want to come home. As soon as we want to take rest, we want to come home. Huh? So going to the forest is not the means. But even if we go to the forest, what is that we are looking? We should have clarity. Huh? And that clarity is what in 13th chapter, Lord Krishna is explaining to Arjun. The glories of Bhagavad Gita is said in Padma Puran. Especially, there is this Gita Mahatmya. And in that, for every chapter, there is a very nice uh, pastime or a story connected to it. How each of these chapters of Bhagavad Gita had a deeper impact and there are who attain perfection. And for the 13th chapter, which is relating to tell about the knowledge, there is this nice story where there is one a woman who is yeah not very chaste, uh, kind of slut lady, and then she was looking for a guy, so that he can enjoy, and he happens to be coming to a place where he comes to a forest, and in the forest there is a tiger, and the tiger says, "Oh, I would have left her free if she was of a good character, but yeah, because of her character, yeah." Anyway, tiger eats. So, and then this lady dies or is killed in the hands of tiger. And then next life, after going through all the hells, Raurava, and all the places where the hot iron rods are pierced into the body for what kind of sins that she has performed, she is born as a Chandalini in her next life. And Chandalini, we know that who is a yeah in the race or in the cult or in the tribe of a what do you call this meat eaters, considered very very low class. And because of her past sins, because of that, there is also this karmic reactions. And in this life, in as Chandalini, she uh, had a lot of diseases because of which she didn't kept well herself. And then uh, somehow, this Chandalini comes across a Brahman, uh, and yeah, this Brahman uh, is speaking with chapter 13. And what is chapter 13 is all about? We are not this body. Uh, when this knowledge is passed on by the Brahman to Chandalini, she attained success. Yeah. In spite of her past life, in spite of her sins, sinful reactions, even in this life, she was yeah, in very, very downtrodden life. But because she heard to chapter 13 from this Brahman, she attained uh, perfection. Why? Because it is in itself science. Uh, Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga is explaining about who am I and what is this body. Uh, and Krishna is explaining. Of course, we'll go in through the purport of this chapter, last verse, and then we'll go further into this topic. I'll just open. Let me know if you guys can see my screen.
Yes, Prabhuji, it's visible.
क्षेत्र क्षेत्रज्ञयोरेवम् अन्तरं ज्ञानचक्षुषा भूतप्रकृतिमोक्षं च ये विदुर् यान्ति ते परम्. I'm reading word to word also. Kshetra of the body, Kshetra jnana of the proprietor of the body, evam, thus, antaram, the difference, jnana chakshusha, by the vision of knowledge, bhuta of the living entity, prakriti from material nature, moksham, the liberation, cha also, ye, those who, viduhu know, yanti, approach, te, they, param, the supreme. Translation goes like this. Those who see with eyes of knowledge the difference between the body and the knower of the body and can also understand the process of liberation from bondage in material nature, attained to the supreme goal. Purport, I'll just read out. The purpose of this 13th chapter is that one should know the distinction between the body, the owner of the body, and the super soul. One should recognize the process of liberation as described in the verses 8 through 12. Then one can go on to the supreme destination. A faithful person should at first have some good association to hear of God and thus gradually become enlightened. If one accepts a spiritual master, one can learn to distinguish between matter and spirit, and that becomes the stepping stone for further spiritual realization. A spiritual master, by various instructions, teaches his students to get free from the material concept of life. For instance, in Bhagavad Gita, we find Krishna instructing Arjuna to free him from materialistic consideration. One can understand that this body is matter. It can be analyzed with its 24 elements. The body is the gross manifestation, and the subtle manifestation is the mind and psychological effects. And the symptoms of life are interaction of these features. But over and above this, there is the soul and there is also the super soul. The soul and the super soul are two. This material world is working by the conjunction of the soul and the 24 material elements. One who can see the constitution of the whole material manifestation as this combination of the soul and material elements can also see the situation of the supreme soul becomes eligible for transfer to the spiritual world. These things are meant for contemplation, for realization, and one should have a complete understanding of this chapter with the help of the spiritual master. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purpose to the 13th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of nature, the enjoyer, and consciousness. So, that is the purpose when we acquire knowledge. The knowledge should be to get free from Bhuta Prakriti Moksham Cha, freedom from material existence. How can we get that? Is by understanding what is Kshetra, the body, Kshetragna, the soul, and there is also another Kshetragna who is supreme soul, or even called super soul. And what is the nature is he can know the activities of not only one body, what is happening in me, but also he can know about everything that is there, everything that is existing. And this knowledge is given in this 13th chapter. And there is this, yeah, we spent good number of sessions about this particular what is knowledge. Amanitvam, adambitvam, ahimsa, kshantirarjavam. आचार्योपासनं शौचं स्थैर्यम् आत्मविनिग्रहः इन्द्रियेषु वैराग्यम् अहङ्कार एव च जन्म मृत्यु जरा व्याधि दुःख दोष अनुदर्शनम् अशक्तिर् अनभिष्पङ्गः पुत्रधार गृहादिषु नित्यं च सम चित्तत्वम् इष्टा अनिष्टोपपतिषु मयि च अन्येन योगेन भक्तिर् अव्यभिचारिणी विविक्त देश सेवित्वम् आरतिर् जन संसदि अध्यात्म ज्ञान नित्यत्वं तत्त्वज्ञानार्थ दर्शनम् एतज्ज्ञानम् इति प्रोक्तम् अज्ञानं यत् अहो अतो अन्यथा. So there's a whole list, and the most first one is humility. Our major problem of not able to understand this gyan is because of lack of humility, because of feeling that I already know a lot. And because I think that I know a lot, what we tend to do is we don't give a damn if someone is saying, hey, this is what you have to do. We say, I know everything. From my childhood, I have been breathing the air of Bhagavatam. Ah, Bhagavatam is coming all the time to my ears. After all, scriptures are saying, what is that? Shruti, Shravadam, I have been hearing. But why is it not transforming? When we are hearing, it should also transform. Yes, I am transformed. Yeah, because how? I think I know a lot now. But that transformation will bind us. Why? Because it is saying that humility is the quality that one should have. And when we lack this quality of humility, what we tend to think is, I know everything. And when I know everything, I don't attend satsang. When I know everything, why should I come? After all, of course, if you call me to speak, I will come. But if I have to hear to you, why should I come? And then there is this pride. Oh, because of me only everything is happening. When we have this pride feeling, uh, it's called a kind of a ride on a tiger. We don't want that. We don't want to ride on a tiger. It's very dangerous. Why? Because it's so cool, right? So tiger is, but so dangerous. At any moment when it's hungry, it doesn't have to go anywhere. And violence. When we talk about violence, the most affected people out of violence is who? Our own self. Uh, because of violence, what we are doing, we are creating disturbance. To whom? First to us. We think, oh, we want to win over someone, and then we are ready with word, with sword and everything. But yeah, we see so many wars that are happening in the world today, and all these wars are happening for what? Power, or to keep up one's pride, or all these. Whereas Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying, just be humble. Come on, if I become humble, people will make fun of me, people will exploit me, people will, uh, um, I will be exploited. Yeah, basically. No, I can't be humble. No, if we are not humble, then what is happening? Krishna is saying, hey, all this I declare to be knowledge, and besides this, whatever there may be is ignorant. So not being humble is ignorant. Why? Because humbleness will liberate us. Hmm. Pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control. All these are great qualities, and not only qualities. It is all about knowledge. See, you don't have to read newspaper every day. If you read this one article every day, that's it. Life is successful. And when we see, maybe I need to have charts. Uh, so if you see in this particular verse, we see that the whole purport is mentioned, which means it's not an ordinary verse, especially in the fast track world where we don't have so much time. Come on, Bhagavad Gita, oh, so many verses, 18 chapters. Lord Himself is saying Bhagavad Gita is very special. Why? Because He's saying, uh, is Bhagavad Gita a personal manifestation or an impersonal manifestation of the Lord? Can someone guess? Is it His personal manifestation or impersonal manifestation?
Personal manifestation, right, Prabhuji, because Lord himself spoke. Or
Personal manifestation means having form. What is the form of Bhagavad Gita? I understood. What do you mean by personal manifestation? Means Lord personally spoke, no? No, that's not personal manifestation.
oh, okay, okay.
Personal manifestation has
Informed.
a personal form. Yeah.
Okay.
It is said that Bhagavad Gita, the Lord Himself is saying, uh, the first five chapters of Bhagavad Gita are constitute my head, five heads of the Lord. And then the next chapters, there are 10 chapters which constitute His 10 arms. Then there is next chapter. How many are already over? 5 plus 10 are over. Then the next 16 is His stomach. And then remaining 2 are His legs. So which means Bhagavad Gita, Lord Himself, He's saying that this Bhagavad Gita constitutes my form. So it's not impersonal. Hmm. And then if we see here, refer back to this, the conclusion of knowledge is mentioned in this chapter. That is one great thing. And in the last, what is the conclusion? Is saying these things are meant for contemplation, for realization. And now I'm very, we come across some people who read newspaper. Will they contemplate? After all, no. Why? Because it's going here, it's going here. Huh? Contemplating is to do what? To realize, oh, that guy messed up his life. I should not do that. I should take my own self care. Hmm? And then have a complete understanding of this chapter with the help of spiritual master. Ah, in today's world, everything is what? Self healing, self teaching. So everyone is considering self gurus. I can become guru of my own self. Hmm. This is what science is making us. The material science, what is making us? If I have a question, am I coming to you? No. Science makes us me, oh, go to Google. You put anything. How much do you know? Do you know more than Google? Hmm? How much do I know? Uh, Come on, we think that, hey, Google has everything. Let's go to Google. Uh, it has also, if you search for Bhagavatam, Bhagavatam is also there in Google. Right? So why should I come to you? What is so great about you that I have to come to you? Google cannot realize. Google is a place where it is only pushing all the data. Now it leaves again to you. Just like Krishna told everything to Arjuna and he left it. Hey Arjun, now you have to take action. Google is not telling that. Google is just showing everything. Just as like Oracle. You open these days, those days, Oracle, you don't, right? Oracle, after you open it, whatever you want to see, you can see. Google is really making like that, isn't it? Whatever I have uh, thought, if I want like this, it will show like that. If I don't want like that, it will show like that. Everything, as well like Google is what we actually want. But what is Google making? Uh, it's providing so much information, but where is the transformation? It is not going to say, hey, you do this. It can at the most say what? It can recommend pages. In the first page, if you have 10 search results, it will only recommend. Is it instructing us? No. When our faith increases on this Google, we accept it as instruction and follow it. What is the guarantee that we follow, then we are successful? Huh? In the world of artificial intelligence, where is the natural intelligence? We think natural intelligence is risky these days. How can I trust you? How much do you know? How can I trust you? Yeah, your intelligence is very little, but I can trust artificial intelligence because it has the mechanism, it has the power to churn across so many things. Satish Prabhu. Now and then there are some disasters. We say, come on, we are there already, 99%. Only 1% failures are okay. After all, uh, uh, humans are they perfect? Rather than that, we are more perfect. So in that way, what we are doing is that we are just thinking uh, that we can make everything without a guru. But Krishna directly is saying we need a spiritual master. We need a spiritual master. Why? Because he has already tad vidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya upadeshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. That knowledge, whatever we want, uh, even apply knowledge, what we call the Vignan, who can give us Guru? And just like Krishna is the Guru of Arjun, where he is enlightening Arjuna in the battlefield, we are also in our life in a battlefield. What is the battlefield? Getting up early in the morning. Uh, is also it starts already there. Uh, and then okay, after alarm which is waking me up, I have regularized, but what to do afterwards? I don't know. Let me open a paper, read. No, Guru is saying, what is this? By doing this, you are just getting entangled. There's so many people, yeah, who have become richy rich. They have earned a lot. What is the worth of it? There is no worth of it. The Guru is telling. Guru is not just recommending only, but he's instructing, saying that we should not go behind that. Why? Because we are not this body. Why? Because Krishna said. And who is Krishna? Come on, after all, who is Krishna? Who is Krishna? Adi Guru. When we see Balaram, is Adi Guru. Krishna, who is Krishna? Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardhanam Devaki Paramanam Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru. Okay. And Google cannot replace Krishna. Whatever it can do, whatever science can do, it cannot replace Krishna. Whatever this material advancement, whatever this artificial intelligence, all these things are there. Uh, it is an attempt to do what? To attain that perfection that we can take shelter of Guru. As long as that is done, it's okay. Otherwise, there is no use of all of these things. Why Krishna is saying, this is the real knowledge. All other things are not. And then, very important in this verse is also mentioned how the process works. Faithful persons should have some good association, hearing in good association, and accepts a spiritual master. These are three things that are mentioned. Prabhupada is saying that faithful person should have some good association. With good association, what happens? We tend to benefit. Just like if someone is in good consultation, he will benefit. If someone is in a bad association, then he will get bad counseling and bad consultation. And eventually, what will happen? He becomes more uh, disturbed, and then he will have no taste for hearing. As all those bad qualities will be more dominating. There is small call that is coming from the heart that, hey, no, you should not do this. Come on, no, no, no. There are so many. Everyone is doing this. Let me also do it. Don't we have this peer pressure? Everyone is doing that nonsense. What is so wrong if I do it? If I don't do, then I am disturbance. If I don't do, then I am wrong. Rather, I get used to it. This is if someone had started their um, what is this taking alcohol. First, how can people drink this? It's so horrible. It doesn't taste well. It is very bitter. And after drinking, feel like vomiting. No, after two times, three times, they start telling, hey, if you're coming from abroad, bring me this brand. If you're coming from here, you do that. Or, I have a gallery of all this collection of what I have tasted. That, this red wine it's from France, which is just no, sorry, from South Africa, which is just yeah, 10 years old, the best. Uh, and you know what? Again, in that we take. You know what? Uh, my friend has gifted me. Even in that, uh, um, there is this. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that exchange gifts. What is that gift that exchange is happening? I am giving you wine, you give me some other thing. And in that way, what is happening? Who is benefiting? No one. Now, this is what happens, right? I don't know if you have seen some life learning experiences with your friends and circle. I s- I know few where the person just comes for studying to abroad. He comes here and then his wings start opening, and then his wings are becoming so big as if like, hey, now I'm self-independent. I can fly like anything. And then what happens when the wings are expanding more? Then you start thinking, hey, if someone is offering, you say, hey, I'm independent now. These are my parents. No one is seeing me. I can do whatever I want. And then very simple. No, at least in India there is pressure. If my neighbor sees, they may tell to my parents, and my parents may. Here no one is there to complain. No one is tell to. No problem. Now I'm fully. Then he starts saying, okay, he goes with his friends. After all, we have to socialize, right? We are social beings. Let us go to some small uh, party. I will not drink. Come on. I am from my childhood, I never drank. And now uh, um, I am with friends and friends. Obviously, on a Friday night, if you go there, what will they give? They will give you halwa prasad? No, right? They will give you, uh, they will give you more so that you can forget yourself and yeah, become more shameless and can be part of it. What is that? Alcohol. No, 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 no. I came here only just to because you are my friend. You called me. No, no, no. And next Friday again you go. And after our next Friday, what you start doing? Hey, nice. Uh, someone is not on your space. And then what happens with this? Then, not only boys come to the parties, girls also come to the party. Uh, and then this attraction builds more. That, oh, every Friday I should make it. We don't go to Sunday temple every Sunday, but every Friday, after all, Monday to Friday I've been working, chilling out a bit is okay. And then what is happening? This very pure soul who has been taught all those great things in his childhood, in his village and everything, once he comes to city, then he forgets everything. What is happening? He's deeply absorbed in what? Maya. Now, if you tell it is Maya, he says, I like this Maya, right? After all, this is what he wanted, and this is what he wanted, and he's getting it. And as long as he keeps getting it, he thinks, oh, this is giving me happiness. And of course, sometimes there is this, it is said that a male donkey is behind a female donkey. And what is happening is, yeah, this female donkey beats this male donkey now and then still, okay. But still, life is so nice. That is okay. One time beating is fine. Who is not having it? I can see that she donkey has beaten the he donkey. For me also, it's okay. And in this business of uh, accommodating this beating, uh, ill treatment, we think it's okay. That's what we have. Uh, whereas Krishna is saying, no, we should approach a spiritual master to do what? To get enlightenment. Uh, it- Having a guru is not a cool thing where we think, okay, guru is there, so nice. Yeah, because when Krishna is telling to have a guru, I have a guru now, what we should do? We should have a good association. The two things very important. One is guru who tells what is what. that I am not the Kshetra, I am only Kshetrajna. This is what the whole chapter, if we see, is very nice. And that is the reason Prabhupada in purport is saying we should contemplate on it. The more and more we contemplate, then we start understanding, oh, so far I am living actually in a dream. I've been thinking I am this, I am that, I am this body, I am so and so. But when we contemplate more and more, we understand I am not this, I am not this hand, I am not this leg, I am not this body. Huh? And then, are you crazy? You are not this body? Hmm? If in the police station, huh? If I ask, hey, who is Gaur Bhagwan? He said, no, I am not Gaur Bhagwan. Huh? Or he say, okay, he says, who is Gaur Bhagwan? He lifts his hand, yeah, after all. Yeah? And then, okay, come and uh, sit in the jail, you have done something. You say, hey, I myself, I don't know where I am. How can you put me in the jail? Huh? Then he's saying, what is happening? I've been thinking that you are the body, right? Is there something, anything else other than the body? No, our understanding is everything is body. But when we, with the support of scriptures, with the support of spiritual master, with the support of good association, we can come to this understanding. And it's not a one-day business. It has to have happen everyday business. Every day when we do this, then what is happening is actually we come to this understanding that I'm not this body. Even now, today also, while we are sitting, we still have this doubt, right? How does it? How is that I am not this body? After all, I am seeing myself in a mirror. What am I seeing? What do I see in the mirror? Do I see me or do I see my body? Hmm? What do you see? You see me in your body. Huh? If you see some horror movies now, you can also see yourself in the mirror. This is typical. Any horror movie you take now, what will happen is that soul, na, that soul will be seen in the mirror. Huh? So go in front of the mirror. Huh? And if we see ourselves like that, huh, not with the body, then we can see, oh, I'm spirit soul. No, that's not the way. How can we understand? Is by eliminating, because this body is made of 24 elements. Huh? There is water in this body, okay, that is material. There is bone or earthly element that is there, remove that. There is fire element that is there, remove that. There are sense organs there. So when we start removing all these things, neti, and then that way when we remove all these 24 elements, still I'm existing. We can't see that existence, right? But what we can do, we understand that, yeah, after removing everything, still there is something through which we are living. That is actually I am. Hmm? So Krishna is saying that through that process of filtering out, we can really come to that understanding. Otherwise, there is no other way. And when we cannot do this exercise, approaching a spiritual master, recognize the process of liberation, then one can go to the supreme destination. Analyze the body with 24 elements, then analyze soul and super soul as separate. Our challenge already is there where we are struggling to understand who am I beyond this body or within this body. That itself is a struggle. Now, can we really see super soul? But then how can we see super soul? Soul I can't see. Is there a chance to see the super soul? Anyone in the group here? How can we see the super soul? Huh? Krishna said how to see soul, right? What did he say? Filter out. That way then you can see the soul. What about super soul?
We can see after death if we are
See the
that
super soul.
elevated enough.
You can see the super soul after death. How?
If, if we become elevated enough, uh, then we may not have to come back to this material energy, and then we can, when we visit Kulu Vrindavan, then we can see.
Say again, I didn't understand. Sorry.
Like if some people or any devotee is elevated enough,
Can you say again?
that if a devotee is elevated enough,
Am I
so that
audible?
am I audible, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear both of you.
Okay. So if a devotee is elevated enough that
Am I audible?
yes, Prabhu, we can hear you also.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, so if
Can someone speak? I was just changing this speaker setting. I can't hear. So, okay, can I go back to you? Hello? Can someone speak now?
Prabhu, can you hear me?
I can hear now. Anyway, so can you repeat, please, what you were saying?
Prabhu, according to my thought, like when a devotee is elevated enough that he or she will not take a rebirth in this material world, then they will be back to the Golok Vrindavan or to the eternal serving of our Supreme Lord. So that time they will be able to see the super soul.
Okay. Anyone else? Yeah, thank you. Tanoj
Hare
Prabhu?
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Sorry, Kamasa.
Prabhuji, like I don't know whether my uh, uh, sentence is right or not. I was thinking all the pure Vaishnavas are super soul
How? Can you justify, please?
because they are pure and they have already realized somehow the
Okay.
super soul.
Okay.
Uh,
I think what you are telling is not a super soul. You're telling about great souls. Yeah. So there's
so
a
yeah,
lot of difference
yeah.
between great soul and a super soul.
Yeah, I think it's a great soul. I
This
was
is,
confusing
this
the
is,
super soul. Super soul is
yeah.
only one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we are talking about Paramatma. We are not talking about Mahatma. So Mahatmas, as you said, great, realized Vaishnavas, saints, they are great
Yeah.
because they are always absorbed in devotion. Yeah. Now we are talking about Paramatma.
Paramatma, yeah.
Yeah. Anyone else? I see Parminder Mataji, right? Yeah. I think we saw us on Bhadra Purnima.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, I think it might be through Srimad Bhagavatam or through the japa or
Okay.
through devotional service that you might be able to see the super soul or feel the super soul or the presence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Anyone else?
Vishnu Babu, my understanding is that with the normal senses, it's not possible to see the super soul. The only way is that when one performs the Ardha Kama purely with the aim of Dharma being in the background, and with purity of mind, then each of the work that they do is converted to bhakti, and with that bhakti, uh, immense bhakti, the Lord Himself has to step down or give that anugraha, so that he will be granted to see the super soul. This is my understanding, or else it's simply not possible for the senses to.
Sagar Prabhu, can you repeat the last line, because I was changing my audio settings.
Okay, no, what I was saying is, once that bhakti is, if yeah, the Artha and Kama has to be performed with dharma as a background, and then each karya is then turned into bhakti, if it's done with the purity of mind, and with that bhakti, as it enhances, the Lord Himself has to grant the wish of seeing, showing Himself. That is the only possibility I understood.
So you mean,
or else it's simply not possible.
yeah, so the Lord has to reveal, then we can see Him, right?
Exactly. So He has to give that power,
yes,
to the person.
Yeah, right. And if you see in this, there's a very important verse, which is what? What chakshu do we need? It's mentioned here. Kshetra kshetrangayor evam antaram jnana chakshusha. So if we want to understand the difference between the soul and the super soul, what do we need? Jnana chakshu. Usually, right from our childhood, we are being used to seeing things with our eyes. And whatever we see, we believe. Sometimes, even if they are not correct, we believe and we make mistakes. Yeah. This is what, if you see in the Srimad Bhagavatam, first verse, Janmadi yasya yato anvayat, itaras cha artheshva, abhigna swarat, and then comes Tejavari Brahma Hridak Adikave Muhyanti Yat Suraya. Then comes in the third line, it's mentioned, what is that? Tejovari Mridam Yatha Vinimayo Yatra Trisarga Amrisha. Because of the because of the material world where we are living, there are these three modes of material nature, and then what is happening is we are bewildered, we are illusioned. Just like the example what is given is Tejo Vari Mridam. Because of that, sometimes we see as if like there is fire, but it's not fire. When we see right on a hot road, there is no fire, but we see some fumes, or this mirage, but there is no mirage. So all these illusory things are happening, and we tend to think because of this reality, but it's not real. And as you were saying, when we use our right power to see, what is it? Jnana Chakshu. That is why we see 13 chapters already talking about Jnana Yoga. And the last verse that Krishna is speaking here is about what? We need what? Divine vision. What is that divine vision? Based on knowledge. And what is that knowledge? The knowledge is to know what? To differentiate between Kshetra and Kshetrajna. That when we come to understanding of the difference between the body and the owner of the body, this is already one thing. Then the second level is what? Again, to differentiate between that two kinds of Kshetrajnayor. What are they two? One is the soul and the super soul. And now how can we understand that there is a super soul? How can we understand? When we understand that we are only remembering now only what happened in this life. Whatever has happened, because we are present in this body, in this life, we know only about that. But what about that has happened in the past life? That super soul is knowing. And because of that, he is punishing us. Because of that, he is rewarding us. Through the activity. What are the activities of the super soul? What is that? There is whole description in the same chapter saying that he is Upadrashta, Anumanta, and also eternal. He's eternal, all these. So through that, just like how we have, there is a process that Krishna is saying to understand who am I. There is also a process describing to understand who is that Paramatma. In this chapter, that is the reason this chapter is so nice, because this gives the complete understanding beyond which we don't need anything to support ourselves for bhakti. Because one way is, Sagar Prabhu, when you were saying that the Lord reveals, right? When we come to the stage, then by process of bhakti. But even to come to bhakti, we should understand who we are. And that is the reason why I was asking this question is, there are two ways of seeing this Paramatma. One way is what? Through Jnana Chakshu. But we can also see the Paramatma with this eyes. Why? Because the same Paramatma who is inside the heart, he is manifesting as spiritual master. There is no difference between the spiritual master and the Paramatma. Which means it is so important for us to understand Paramatma. And the Lord is so merciful, He is arranging so that He is directing us from within, He is instructing us from outside. Sagar Prabhu, when we recollect this yesterday's conversation, the importance of having a teacher, importance of having a guru who is correcting. From inside, when we are not able to understand, He Himself is appearing in front and He is instructing how we should deal with our life. Isn't it so wonderful? It's very wonderful, because the Lord is also not, it's not, people say that Lord has casted all the people in this planet Earth as if like He has casted to hell, and there is no other thing. Lord is in, just as if imagine like seeing from top and enjoying what is happening. No, He is providing the means of how to get out of it. If we behave well, we have a chance to get out. If we don't behave well, okay, cycle is on. So this chapter, of course, next chapter will give even more details. This is only a giving who we are and who is the Lord and all this understanding. Next chapter is so nice. We are talking about that elements, which is about 3 modes of material nature. When we understand this body further detail, then we understand, okay, how much soul is suffering because of this misidentification. So this Bhagavad Gita is such a wonderful means for us through which we can sail out of this sansar, this life of suffering. Why? Because we know that, oh, I am the soul. I know that I am not alone. There is Paramatma who can support me to get out of this all problems. So we need to develop this Jnana Chakshu. And how to do that? Again, as Sagar Prabhu was mentioning, bhakti. It's not like I will start bhakti after I know everything. This is also people tend to do, na? As soon as sitting in katha and hearing and doing and all this, so nice. But as soon as when we talk about service, then immediately question will come. Okay, service is bhakti. Come on. What Krishna is saying, develop Jnana Chakshu. When we have this Jnana Chakshu, then Krishna is saying you are perfect already. We don't need to do any bhakti, right? Did Krishna say bhakti here? He said, and, Krishna is saying here, those who see with eyes of knowledge the difference between the body and the knower of the body, and can also understand the process of liberation from bondage, attain to the supreme goal. He is saying the supreme goal. What else do we need? This is what, right? Goal. We have set our ultimate goal. What is that? This is attained by what? Just by differentiating the body and the soul. For that, what is required? Did Krishna say bhakti? He said only what? Divine knowledge, the vision which is filled through knowledge. Parth Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu, you are right.
For that, we don't have to go to Golokdam, then see Paramatma. Paramatma is there already here, inside you.
Yes, Prabhu.
Anyway, I'll stop here. Are there any questions, comments, additions? Subtraction, I can't do it. It's recorded. Yeah, 1 second. Someone raised hand. Yeah, Jai Shri Mataji.
Prabhuji, addition.
Yes.
Yes, in Bhagavad Gita, I also read once that in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan told that the Lord Krishna told that the super soul reside in your heart, right next to the soul, and is aware of all your soul's desires in the same way what was that line, that a person smell the aroma of a flower.
Mhm.
So he reciprocates with our desires in accordance with what we deserve.
Mhm.
So when he sees in us a desire to know him rather than these are material pleasures, so he brings closer to him. He will
Okay.
direct us to the spiritual teachings or a spiritual master. And in one lecture, they also describe spiritual master as a external manifestation of the super soul.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
he in Bhagavad Gita they describe super soul as the overseer and permitter
yeah.
within the world.
Yeah. So in the verse number 23 of the same chapter, it is mentioned. Yeah. Upadrashtanumantascha bhakta bhokta maheshwara paramatmeti chapi ukto dehasmin purusha para. Yeah. Yet in this body there is another a transcendental enjoyer who is the Lord, the supreme proprietor, who exists as an overseer and permitter, and who is known as the super soul.
Yeah, Prabhuji, that line I read it. Yeah, that I listen in one lecture.
Thank you, Mother. And this also reminds me of one what do we call another way we call out Paramatma is Chaitya Guru. Yeah. So Paramatma inside our heart, he is also Chaitya Guru. He is inspiring and directing from within. That's why he is called Chaitya Guru. And this Chaitya Guru, yeah, when as you said, when we have a longing that I want to serve, yeah, at the moment Paramatma, if he is in heart, how can I render service? Yeah, inside our heart, we can't offer service. But when we have the desire to serve, when we have this desire to serve, then what happens? Then he manifests. Just like when we talk about Radharaman ji, Gopal Bhatta Goswami had desire to do Shringar to the Shalagram Shila that he got. And the Lord is pleased and he manifested himself in this beautiful Sri Radharaman ji, and Gopal Bhatta Goswami could offer services. So the desire to serve the Guru, how can we get that? He is the Guru inside our heart. He manifests himself, and then Guru is not taking service for himself. Balaramji, who is Adi Guru, he is not taking all the services for himself. What is he doing? He is arranging everything for the pleasure of the Lord. Which means he is using this sand, brick, everything, and making what? Temple. So whatever the temples, what we see, and all these constructions are a form of Balaramji, because he is the one who is manifesting the dham where the Lord can reside. And who is he? Paramatma. So in that way, there is a whole intricate understanding about Guru Tattva. Yeah, thanks, Madhu. You have a question? Curious how the things work, or they want to find out something. So this is also something, some nature of the soul, or it shows nature is only. If curiosity would have been painful, people would not have curiosity. Okay, we say it has. There is nothing which is done without a motive of happiness, because by nature we are anando bhyasya. So by nature we always want to seek happiness. Even in that curiosity, if we know that gives pain, we will not have curiosity. When we know that we have to suffer, do we have curiosity there? Curiosity we have because we hope that there will be some happiness coming from it. Otherwise, why will I waste my time? Yes. Who was asking us extra hours, Rupa? If I have more hours, then I can do. I think Sagar Prabhu, right? Yesterday we were just having some conversation, and he was saying, "Oh, how nice if I have few extra hours." Yeah, the curiosity, or if we think that we can really make best, we are ready to get more hours. If we think that this is suffering, why will we do that? We just say no, no, not from curiosity. Any action, even if we are sitting idle, why are we sitting idle? That gives me happiness. If I'm doing something, why am I doing? Happiness. Without happiness, there is no question. There is no question of doing anything. Why? Because that activities, what we do, are driven by what? Happiness. Why? Because we are part and parcel of Supreme Lord. I don't know if Shesai Prabhu is there. Yeah, he was asking one day, what does it mean? Why we say part and parcel of the Supreme? Why not part, or why not parcel? Why part and parcel? We have the qualities that the Supreme Lord has in a very infinitesimal portion. And what is that? Lord is supreme enjoyer, Purushottama. Yes, today morning I was remembering my friend whose name is Purushottam Reddy. Just so nice. He is, I think, that was the first guy whom I have a friend with that name. I met him, and then always reminds me the Lord, not only him but the Lord. And then I understand Purusha Uttama. We only are Purushas, but the Lord is Purushottam. But we are still Purushas. The question we say, are we Prakriti? Well, only one should be the enjoyer. No, all of us are enjoyers, but very, very infinitesimal. Why? Because the Lord reciprocates with what? Love. And Srila Prabhupada mentions that because we are Tatastha Shakti, we can be enjoyers or we can be sufferers. It depends. If we give ourselves to material energy, then we get inferior because it's inferior energy. And because if we engage in service of the Lord, what are we getting? Bliss. Sachit Anand, right? What is that bliss we are getting? Oh Lord, I'm happy that I could serve you. What is that? It's happiness. Yeah. I don't know if it answers your question. So curiosity also is driven by happiness. And people, if they are not doing something, that is also driven by happiness. Yeah, usually when we talk about Buddhism, where we say Soham, let me sit such a way that I will not think about anything. I will think only about, okay. In that thinking only, there is already thinking, right? Searching something, but yeah, by doing the research or something, the people think that end result will be exciting and will be happy. Yeah, there is, without motivation we will not do anything. There is a strong motivation. There is strong motivation. That the moment we get up in the morning, there is some motivation to do something. Oh, not another day. We may think. Even that there is what? Enjoying. Oh, let me stay, sleep little longer. In everything there is their motivation. Yeah. Okay. Any last question? And last one question. If not, then we're good to close. Okay, thank you. पंचकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, की जय। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
हरे